Hi friends, it's me, Lauren Hope, aka Lolo of Good Girl Chronicles, blogger, motivational speaker, certified peer recovery specialist, dog mom, lover of Dwayne Johnson, if you didn't know, and all around fabulous. Today's Good Girl Chronicles confession comes from my brand new 2012 Love Bug. I blog about love, sex, relationships, mental health, and everything in between. Right now, I'm doing a series kind of about sex shame and like relationships and things like that. But that's not to say that'll be all that we talk about. But for right now, that's what's on my heart, and I feel like it's on the heart of a lot of my followers. If you like that type of thing, click subscribe below. I post a vlog once a week. I'm gonna pick a day to be more consistent, but I do post a vlog once a week. And also, if you'd like to know when I am posting a brand new vlog, just hit the little bell below. And yeah, so I am in my car. A couple of vlogs over, I was telling you about how I knew I needed to buy a new car, but I was really afraid. So this is my new car. It's a 2012 Volkswagen Beetle. It actually looks like a ladybug. It's red with black spots, and it's the cutest thing. Like, it fits my personality so much. You know, as much as I try to avoid it, like I'm a social butterfly. I like being the life of the party. I feel like I have a big personality, and this car fits that. And I love people, and this car draws people to you. So if I ever get Datelines, you'll know where to find me. Stop, that's bad. Let's not speak that into existence. I use the term Dateline as a verb. Dateline is a show on NBC about mysteries, about people who, you know, get killed in really mysterious ways. And as a former TV journalist, I freaking love that show, and I low-key have a fear of being datelined all the time. I am outside the office for my psychiatrist, and I just say that as a mental health advocate. I'm always going to be open with you about my mental health journey. It's just part of what I feel called to do in this life. So I meet a psychiatrist every 6 to 8 weeks. That person manages my meds. We talk for about 15-20 minutes, how I'm responding on meds, any major life changes, how I'm coping, things like that. Then I see a talk therapist every 2 weeks where we talk about like anxiety, how I'm dealing with it, depression, triggers. And right now, you know, with her, I really am working through like a lot of things about my sexuality that like I have a hard time accepting, and making peace with my past, really. So that's kind of part of my mental health care plan that keeps me well. So my appointment is in 20 some odd minutes, and it's raining out, so I figured let's just have a little chat. You know what I find so interesting as I've been producing more content about relationships and stuff? The things that trend the most in my audience are about relationships from a place of brokenness. And I'm really have been thinking about why that is, and what is the content or the speakers or whoever that speaks to that. So last year I wrote a blog called I'll Take the Broken Ones. And it's on I think I've spoken about this on my vlog before, but I have a blog where I write, and the blog has been in existence longer than anything else has. And so basically it's a story about how I know that I've been attracted to broken men and broken people because I wanted to fix them and love them back to life. And I feel really good encouraging people, but I also understand that part of the reason why I have a desire to fix people is because I feel so broken. And if you are not aware of your own brokenness and you're not dealing with it, it can lead you to stay in relationships and situations way longer than you should. It can lead you to accept and keep people around who are not good for you. And I've realized that, you know, therapy has given me a lot of time to look back on why I have made the certain choices in love that I have made. And a lot of them is because I saw something in these people that was broken, that needed to be loved. And in fixing them, I felt like I was fixing me. And that blog I wrote a year ago, and it is like, it's always trending on my blog. Now, granted, I don't get a lot of views, but that is the story that's always trending. The second one is one I call the boob prayer, about when I prayed for boobs. I'm a very full-chested woman. I'll share that one on a later date. It's probably men thinking that it's going to be something naughty, and it's really not. It's about the blessing and the burden of having big boobs. God, I love Wawa coffee. So I asked myself, why is that the top? Why is that always the trending blog? and I've read it like at like storytelling nights and stuff before, people really identify with it. And I'm just like, why is that? And I feel like it's because we're all broken in some way. And a lot of people share this, like trying to find their wholeness in fixing somebody, trying to find their wholeness in a relationship. So I had a thought, which I'm probably going to develop into a talk. I had a thought that our souls, right, before we enter this earth, our souls were like a perfect, like colored, what are those things in churches? You know, when you go to really nice churches and they have like the stained glass windows and they make up a picture? Before our soul enters this earth, we're just like this perfectly colored, unbroken, untattered, stained glass window. When we come into this earth, there is a crack, right? Because we live in a broken world. And I do identify as a Christian, so I believe that we're all sinners and that there is no way that any person can ever be perfect, but we strive in perfection in following a life that mirrors Christ. That's like a lot of my worldview. And so I feel like when we enter this world, there's a crack in the window. And the experiences that we have in life, particularly the ones we have in childhood, because I do really believe that childhood has a profound effect on how we love, how we relate, who we are. There are things that can happen to us in our childhood that make bigger and larger cracks. Abuse, divorce, abandonment, all of these things, all of these experiences, what psychologists call adverse childhood experiences. Each time we experience some trauma, we get a crack, right? And so that window that was once perfect is broken. Now, sometimes there are some events that just shatter your window. They just shatter it, and there's broken pieces all over the floor. And I feel like I know that I've been in an experience that shattered my window. My first suicide attempt was like a huge crack. Leaving my television job because of my mental health, and then, not knowing who I was anymore, a big part of my window fell apart. And the last of it just hit the ground when I became homeless. That hit the ground. And then like the broken pieces of myself were stomped on by those experiences of homelessness. And so a lot of people, right, who have gone through those broken experiences, they stay there. They stay there on the floor with broken pieces. And when they let people in their lives to love them, those people start to touch the broken pieces, and the sharpness and the rough edgedness, the bitterness, the anger, the unforgiveness hurts the person who wants to love you. And part of living a life of peace and love is, what do you do with your brokenness? What do you do once the window has completely been broken? And me, it became a turning point in my life where I looked at these broken pieces and I felt God speak to me and say, I can rebuild this, okay? It's never going to be the picture that it was when you were born. It's never going to be the picture it was when you were a reporter. It's never going to be the picture it was when your parents accepted you and respected you and things like that, right? But if you let me, I will rebuild you. I'll take those broken pieces and we can put that picture back together into something that you're at peace with and that you're proud of. And because of your brokenness, right, when I put that picture back together, people are going to say, oh my God, look at that picture. It's broken. It's got rough edges, but it's still worthy. It's still useful. It's still purposeful. And when you go to churches now, when you see these stained glass windows, right, they're not just solid windows. They've got cracks in different colors, right? So the brokenness that we've picked up and rebuilt, it's now become this beautiful picture. Our testimony, our brokenness, all of that stuff has become a beautiful picture. But it's what you do with it, right? It's what you do with it. And that's why, I don't know if I've shown you guys this before, my tattoo says, I will rebuild you and you will dance again. It's from Jeremiah 31:4. And because that is the verse that I would meditate on all the time when I was in the homeless shelter, when I was sleeping in my car or whatever. God said, let me take your broken pieces. Let me take them, right? Let me buff them out, right? And let me tell you, the process of rebuilding is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable because what I've had to learn in the last 2 years is that not everybody can go on the journey of rebuilding with you. Some people like still want you to be party Lauren, still want you to be nonchalant, caring Lauren, depressed Lauren, or whatever. And that's not who I am. And so I've had to let go of so many people. And it's hard for somebody who has issues with abandonment and trust like me when I have to prune or when people leave. But I understand that that's all of God's rebuilding. So sorry that this has turned into a church session. I'm sorry. I understand if you don't subscribe to Christianity and you're like, next. But even if we take religion out of it, okay? Even if we take religion out of it, there comes a crossroads when you have experienced trauma. It can make you bitter or it can make you better. And you have a choice in the matter. You have a choice. You can wallow in the fact that this man didn't love you the way you needed to. You can continue on a journey of depression and not get help. You can be angry at the people that you can't forgive and let that eat you from the inside out. But, right, you can do that. That is a choice. That is a choice. We can't decide what life does to us. We can't decide what people do to us. We can decide how we react. And so, religion aside, is this the life you want to live, right? Is this what you want? Do you want to be held in bondage to unforgiveness, sadness, anger, whatever, your brokenness? Choose to be better. Choose to forgive. Choose to let it go. And this is an ongoing journey for me. I'm not saying this like I have arrived, because I certainly haven't. It takes me, I'm a very forgiving spirit, but I just want you to know that it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. I remember when I was homeless, I was like back on the street again. I was living with this lesbian couple and they put me out. And I got a couple of dollars from some friends, and this amazing church couple like donated money for me to stay at Motel 6. I remember laying in that Motel 6 and just crying and not wanting to live and not feeling like it was going to get any better. I remember calling all these people asking for food, for money, for anything, and nobody could help. I don't know if they couldn't or they wouldn't or whatever, but nobody could help. And I decided then, I said, God, I'm going to do whatever it takes to never be in this situation again. Whatever it takes. From here on out, I'm going to stop. I'm not saying to not get help, but I don't know. I just felt so angry and frustrated and sad that like I was turning to people and they weren't there. And I said, it's time for me to make a choice to fight for my life back. I have to get my life back. And so after that, I started taking 3 to 4 buses to get to work at the ocean front. I went back to the shelter program because I knew that's what I wanted to do. I said, I control my destiny, and I control it by making the choices to get back up from this. I'm not going to wallow or be mad at the people that couldn't help me right now. I'm going to get up and do the work. I'm just going to do the work. Yeah. And eventually God did bring people who could help. I live with a family now who's like really helping me get back on my feet and stuff like that. But I just want to say this to people who watch this channel, and for people who are feeling like they can't love again after a season of brokenness, feeling like they can't ever have their dreams again. Like I just don't believe that. Spiritually, emotionally, physically, like every day is another chance to turn things around. Every single day. And recently I was in a really intense dating situation, and I realized that I have to let that situation go, but I'm still hopeful about love. I've worked a lot on making peace with myself and loving who I am as a person, and I think that I'm an amazing woman to love. Am I broken? Yeah. Am I in the rebuilding phase? Yeah. Do I have some things that I need to work on? Yes. But I am kind. I am loving. I am compassionate. I am patient. I am a romantic gestures type of person. I'll write you love letters and this and that. And I'm worthy of that type of love. I'm worthy to be loved again. And I say this to anybody who maybe thinks they've made too many relationships in sex. They've had too many sexual partners or whatever. No. you're never too far gone to be loved. That's what I believe. And but I will say it does take loving yourself first. I know that sounds so cliche. We've made it cliche, but that is the real deal. If we go back to this, like, metaphor I'm using about the broken glass or the stained glass window, you have to be able to look at that picture and say, yeah, it's not what I started out with. It's not what I envisioned, but I love it. I love that I survived being homelessness. Being homeless. I love that even when I was homeless, I found a reason to smile every single day. I love that I'm rebuilding my life purpose by helping other people tell their stories. I love the imperfections. My imperfections are is what makes me perfect. Somebody told me that. I recently went on this date with this guy, and I was like, oh, I'm still marinating on that. You have to love that picture first, right? Before you can let anybody else love it, because I realize that, like, you have to know that you're worthy of love. And I believe that we all are. I really do. I believe that we all are. So I just wanted to share that with you today. And I do think that I'm going to stay on this topic of, like, loving through brokenness, because I feel like there are a lot of women, especially, who don't feel like that's possible. And, even the person that I dated, he went through a really intense divorce. And I think I can even see in him some brokenness that's unresolved, and it makes it hard for him to love the way that I know that he can. And because I love myself so much, I can't accept less than what I deserve. Someone who is emotionally unavailable, who won't try, who's impatient, that kind of stuff. Like, I deserve more than that, and so I have to let it go. So yeah. I am looking to do an interview with a male dating coach who talks a lot about brokenness. He, too, is also a suicide attempt survivor like myself. And even in just our first conversation together, he was telling me about, like, asking me what I was doing to actually let go of this person. And I was like, He was like, no, but what are you actually doing? I was like, okay. So I might be doing an interview with him here. Also, I live in Hampton Roads, Virginia, and I do a lot of events. I like to create events that give people value, that they leave feeling full or inspired to do something. And I have an event that may be addressing this very topic that we're talking of in the new year, so please keep on the lookout for that. You can follow me on all platforms on Good Girl Chronicles LLC, or just search Good Girl Chronicles. I also produce a monthly storytelling night called the Spark of Hope Storytelling Night. We're having our next one on November 8th, which is this Friday. But if you're in the area and you like that type of thing, keep on the lookout for that. It's a way to really feel like inspired and full from hearing other people's stories, which I think is one of the best ways that we share with people, is sharing our stories. So yeah. All right, let's see what time it is. All right, I'm gonna go check in. It's 9:20ish, which is awesome. So I just thank you guys so much for following me on this beautiful, crazy thing that I call life. I'm going to put the link below to this blog that keeps trending all the time. You'll have to read it and tell me your thoughts. If it speaks to you, share it with somebody in your community. And then I'll share the website for Good Girl Chronicles below. As we say here at Good Girl Chronicles, I love you. I love God more. See you next time.